a special feature here on the CricBlog Podcast where we will preview all the 8 teams in the IPL separately. And in this episode, we will be starting off with Chennai Super Kings. And Nash, when you told me you want to start off with Chennai Super Kings, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a tough one because I was looking at their potential playing 11 and they've got about a million options. Let's start with, so basically what we'll do, we'll have a look at their possible playing 11, both you and I, our 11s that we'll go with, and then we'll just have a quick discussion about their strengths and weaknesses and where we think they'll finish this year. So, Nash, if you want to start off with the honours and have a look at their possible playing 11 to start off the season.
Well, I'm just looking at this squad and they do have a lot of options, but obviously with Hazelwood out, that's one foreign option gone. So I think Sam Curran has to play now, given that Hazelwood isn't there. So Sam Curran also gives them that batting option, but also put that together with Dwayne Bravo, who's already there, who's successful, who we all know what he can do. So it's really tough one, but I'll give this a shot. I'll give this a try, and let's see how close we get. So obviously starting with the captain Dhoni first.
Who would you open with? I think that's an area. I think
okay, let's do it that way. That's a big
question for CSK. From 1 to 11, who do you think will open the batting?
I think from last year's performance, I think Ruturaj Gaikwad would be the first opener. And then I don't know if I'm honestly torn between having Pujara there. I don't know if he will play or not. But
you think you'd have Pujara in your team?
No. Really? That's what I'm saying. If they've bought him, they have to play him at some point, isn't it? Like
to start with, what do you think? What do you think they'll start with? Because I know with the possible 11s, things change throughout the season, and players are in and out of form. Conditions change and stuff.
I think Robin Uthappa, and Ruturaj Gaikwad will be the safer option. I mean, they finished 7th last year. They have to do better than that. I mean, Dhoni knows what he can get out of his players. So, Robin Uthappa and Ruturaj Gaikwad to start with. Then comes will be Narayan Jagadishan. At number 3, he has had a really good Vijay Hazare Trophy in India, the domestic one-day comp, and I wouldn't say he has set the world on fire, but his performances were really good for his state team. So I think he'll go number 3. Then number 4 is Ambati Raidu. He's a lock in there. Number 5 is Suresh Raina. He's a lock in there. Number 6 would be number 6 could be Duplessis, or Duplessis could come up the order. It's a really tough one, isn't it? I would push Duplessis at number 3 and then push Ambati Raidu down. So again, let's back up. Ruturaj Gaikwad, Robin Uthappa, Duplessis, and that's one foreign option. So Duplessis. Then number 4 would be Suresh Raina. Number 5 would be Ambati Raidu. Number 6 would be, I would say,
probably got to have MS.
MS or Jadeja would be a good option. 6 and 7, Jadeja and Dhoni. Who comes first is up to the situation and up to Dhoni, really. So he is the best judge of that. Number 8 is, I would go Moeen Ali, because he gives them that batting option at number 8 as well. And also, obviously, the spinning option, part-time spinner, but he's done really good previously in the England T20 Blast and stuff. So number 9 would be your fast bowlers would be Deepak Chahar, and then we have 2 foreign options remaining. So one would be Lungi and Giri, and then Sam Curran. Obviously, Sam Curran can come up the order, so Sam Curran would be 9. 10 would be Ngidi, and 11 would be Chahar. So I think running through the lineup once again.
Is Ngidi available for the start of the IPL, or is he playing in the South Africa
I think so. He is. I haven't seen anything which states otherwise. So,
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah.
given that he should be available, I don't see a problem. Um, but yeah, because they don't have. If you look at this squad, they don't have too many batting options in the foreign player department. So,
Mm.
it's all the ballers. It's like, and then you have Imran Tahir who's left. Where does he play? Because all
Really
their
hard.
all their foreign players are mostly fast bowlers, and then you also have Mitchell Santner, who might get a game here or there. But I think to start with, this would be a um, good lineup. And given that if Moeen Ali doesn't play, then Karan Sharma will play, who's a leg spinner who has played for India. He's a capped player, so I think he can make a difference as well. But some of these domestic players, I don't think they'll get a go straight away. Someone like KM Asif or someone like C. Hari Nishant, and I don't even think Pujara will get a go at the start. But I think later on he might get a game here or there. What about you? What would be your starting 11? Does it look the same or?
No, I think I'm going to go a little bit different because I see two main areas of concern with CSK. I think they need to do a little bit more with the bat in the power play, and they need a bit of depth with the ball at the death. So I'm very tempted to bat someone like a Sam Curran right up at the top. I know that's a bit left field, but they did try that last year. I think, look, the opening position is really, really a challenging one. But if I go with Uthappa and Gaikwad, is that dynamic enough to take advantage of the first six? Are they going to focus on getting 35, 40 runs off the power play? And is that going to work against some of the other teams that have more power in their top order? I love Gaikwad. I think he's such a talented player. I might have he and Sam Curran opening just for that left-right combination, and also that Curran can go in and score and provide some real impetus there at the top, and push the opposition captain on the back foot a little bit and put him under some pressure, making him do some thinking. I think Suresh Raina at 3 because he's a specialist 3. He's done very well there in IPL in the past.
Yep.
So if he's there, the thing I worry about with Suresh Raina, has he played enough cricket? That's a question. But CSK could look to start with that. I think if you put MS Dhoni too low, you probably waste him. So I'd have him at 4.
Yep.
I'd actually have Moeen Jadeja 5, 6.
Okay.
I know that's a lot of all-rounders in there.
Sorry, who did you say at 4?
Dhoni.
Oh, yep. Okay.
I know this is a bit left field here from CSK, but I think they've got to shake things up a little bit if they want to have a better season than last year, because last year I felt they were so conservative.
Yep.
Kedar Yadav, Ambiti Raudu, these guys, they couldn't quite get going and they weren't able to keep up with other teams, and that's why they really struggled.
Yeah.
5 and 6, I had Jadeja there at 6. I would play Krishnappa Gotham as well.
Okay.
He provides an all-round spin option and can hit a long ball down the order too.
Yep.
So I'll take advantage of it. And they spent quite a bit on him as well. So I feel he will be part of their plans.
Yep.
Because they probably need also a death over specialist. I know Dwayne Bravo isn't probably as good as what he once was.
Yeah.
But I would still give him an opportunity. And then I would have as my pace bowlers, I think Shardul Thakur has been outstanding for India of late.
Yeah.
Deepak Chahar. And I think I've got, one more spot left?
Yes.
And how many overseas players have I picked? So I've picked Sam Curran, Moeen.
3. So you got one more.
Dwayne Bravo. Well, this will ultimately depend on conditions. But you could play someone like an Imran Tahir, especially if the pitch is going to provide some turn there as well as your final overseas option. But I think out of all the teams that I looked at, I saw CSK as the toughest in terms of putting an 11 together, because there's a lot of options in there. But at the same time, if you pick a top 4 that's of accumulators, that's going to really put them back. Yeah, I think you need to have someone in that top 4 that'll take the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah. And look, I haven't even included Faf du Plessis in the team as well.
Yeah,
He's
that's right.
an excellent opening option as well if CSK want to go with that. So I think MS Dhoni will have some sort of idea of what he wants.
Yep.
And they'll learn from last season. And also throughout the season as well, you know who's in form and out of form. You can start settling on 11 after a few games. That's ideally what CSK would want, because last season they didn't know what their 11 was well into the season.
Yeah, that's right.
That's something they've got to rectify this time around. Isn't there? Is their death bowling strong enough, do you think?
No. Straight answer is no, because I don't see. I'm not sure if Sam Curran, Shardul Thakur, and Deepak Chahar can do the job. I mean, they as good as the bowlers they are. I don't think they are dead bowlers. And I don't think Shardul Thakur
that's
might.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, Shardul Thakur is now a grown bowler than last IPL, even which was only 5-6 months ago. But given that he has been to Australia, he's had that experience in his bag. But he's still from the recently concluded England series. He's not. Once the batsman gets going, he does get on the back foot and he does panic a bit, and then he's like, what do I do here now? So he
could be someone that's very handy in the middle overs.
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
Like he could come in and get you a wicket or two. He's got that ability.
Yeah.
So that's why I would find a space for Bravo in there just for that cover at the back end.
True. But, yeah. And then obviously
I think CSK have to settle on an 11 very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. But someone can Jadeja, even someone like Jadeja can do the job in the death overs, I believe. And he has that mentality and he has that firepower in him that he can do the job in the last 3 overs, that just bowl wide Yorkers and not give anything to the batsmen. So they have options. It just time will tell how they use it.
Any other weaknesses for you? I think, again, I was mentioning when I was putting my 11 together, it's just firepower with the bat. They don't play a game at Chepauk this season, which is going to be a challenge for them. Yep. In the past, they'll bank on their spinners to even defend a low score. But I think, especially on good batting surfaces, where it's going to be hard to keep the opponents quiet, does Chennai have enough firepower, particularly at the top?
That's a question that will be answered in the first couple of games, because they're first playing against Delhi Capitals, last year's runners up, and then the next game is against Punjab Kings, who have Chris Gayle and KL Rahul at the top. So it's difficult to answer, because as we know, as you said, Uthappa and Gaikwad don't give them that dynamic option. But if I could keep the answer simple here, I would say no, they don't have the firepower, and they probably will lack that first 6 overs intent in the first 6 overs, and probably their best score in the first 6 overs this season would be, I'm calling it early, but I would say somewhere around 45. And I don't think in a T20 that's enough.
I think that's what they've got to look at. That's why I'm thinking in my 11, I want to be a bit left field here. If I have Gaikwad as good as he is, if I have Uthappa as good as a career he's had, Raina as good as a career he's had, and Rayuda, who's done well in the IPL in the past, that is a top 4. I think there's too much sameness for me in that top 4. Yeah. Especially when you consider Raina hasn't played a lot of T20 cricket lately, hasn't played cricket at all, a lot of cricket at all lately, to be honest. So they've just got to be a little bit more. They've got to take a few more risks, I think, CSK, and it's worth doing that early in the season to try and get a few wins on the board.
Well, for all we know, du Plessis might end up opening, and Chennai Super Kings get 75 in first 6. So you never know, because they have that option, as you said, as we discussed.
Faf and Curran as the openers could be
really dangerous.
Be a great option there. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
In terms of strengths, did you have any?
Well, obviously, you already mentioned the strengths where Raidu, Raina, Dhoni, and Jadeja, those 4 players, and even Dwayne Bravo, those 4 players have been at Chennai for I can't remember how long, but
Yeah.
and they know the franchise inside out. They know what gets the job done. They are experienced, players. So and Dhoni knows what it takes to win trophies. So
Yeah.
he can get the best out of his players. He knows how to do it. So that's the strength I think this year. And with someone like Sam Curran, Shardul Thakur, and Giri there, and even Moeen Ali, that just adds a little bit of flair to the team, if I can say that.
Yes.
Something different in the sameness that we have seen before. So, and yeah, I think those are their strengths. But I don't have high hopes for CSK this year.
Right. Yeah, I think my original instinct said they can make the playoffs this year. I think they'll be close. I think they'll be fighting thereabouts. I think one of their strengths is they've got a number of bowling options to turn to. So, if someone's having a bad day, that's okay. You can turn to someone else. But yeah, I think I worry about top order team combination. I think at the end of the day, I think they've got to nail that very quickly. I think I've got CSK on the edge of the four. I can't see them being there at the top of the league throughout the year. But it'll be interesting to see if Dhoni can get the best out of everyone and if they can come across some pitches that got a little bit of spin on offer. I think they'll be very, very handy there. So it'll be interesting to see with CSK. I think they'll be thereabouts middle of the table fighting for the top four.
All right. So is that your position for them this year?
I think so. If I had to say, I'd say they'd probably just miss the top four. But
so number 5?
Yeah, I'd say number 5 or 6, but I would not be surprised if they sneak in there because they've got a lot of experience and they've got players that can produce match-winning performances on their day. But just the sheer competitiveness of the IPL, how many teams can actually make it, makes it a tough pick.
So I'm going wooden spoon for them. I'm going number 8.
Big call, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, I don't have high hopes for them this year, and that franchisee needs something new, is what I believe. As much as I love those players, I love them with all my heart. Dhoni, Jadeja, Raina. I think that franchisee needs new blood. They need new faces. They need new ideas. And after finishing 7 last year, I think they have it in them to finish 8 this year. So, yeah.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We could look like geniuses, or we could look like complete idiots when people come back to this after the IPL's finished. So
exactly, and putting this out there on the internet this early, I mean, it's
a risk.
It's a risk. It's dangerous, but yeah.
Look, we'll see what happens, and we'll keep an eye on CSK. We've done our best here to preview the team as best we can with a million different combinations possible for that team, but I think it's important if they start the season well, they can carry on. But if they start poorly, a very, very hard season coming back.
That's right.
So that's our preview of CSK. Guys, be sure to check out our other content on the other teams. And feel free to let us know as well how you think CSK will go. Thanks for tuning into this video and catch you guys soon.